children's in harm's way. Earlier today, I visited the Central Processing Center here in the Valley, visited the McAllen headquarters. One of the more disturbing figures that I heard from the chief is in 2014, not too many years ago, of the adult men crossing illegally into this country, roughly 1% had a child with them. Today, roughly 50% of the adult men crossing into the Rio Grande sector have a child with them. The reason for that, the fault of that, is the U.S. Congress, because we have told the traffickers, the human traffickers, we've told the drug traffickers, if you bring a child, that child is essentially a get-out-of-jail-free card. It is an incentive from the United States Congress. Go and find a small child and take that arduous journey. Risk that child's life. And I'll tell you, far too many of those children face physical abuse, they face sexual abuse, they face neglect. And a growing problem we're seeing is fraudulent family units. Groups that present as a family unit, that tell the Border Patrol they're one happy family. There was recently a pilot program done in the Rio Grande Valley using rapid DNA to test family units that said they were family units. It found roughly 30% of those family units were fraudulent. In other words, the adults weren't related to the kids. We're hearing more and more reports of horrific things like children being rented to those crossing illegally. You know, this is a political environment where a lot of politicians like to talk about their enormous compassion, their enormous virtue. Let me tell you, nobody who is compassionate, nobody who is virtuous, nobody who gives a damn about human beings would want even a single day to perpetuate these loopholes and put more children in harm's way. We ought to be angry. We ought to be angry at politicians that wash their hands of this problem. You know, every time I come down to the Valley, every time I come down to the border, I try to visit with Border Patrol agents. I try to visit with law enforcement, local leaders. What I'm hearing in South Texas and all along the border is this is a crisis that is overwhelming our ability to deal with it. It's overwhelming our infrastructure. It's overwhelming our health care system. It's overwhelming just here in the Rio Grande Valley. Chief told me that on average, one woman a day, they're taking to the hospital to deliver a baby. On average, one a day. Imagine being 8-9 months pregnant, making that journey. I visited with too many South Texas ranchers and farmers that have found the bodies of people abandoned. Children, pregnant women abandoned to die. It is time to end this crisis, and the only way we'll end this crisis is for Congress to stop the political posturing and solve the problem, close the loopholes so that children are not subject to exploitation as they are right now. In the first half of 2017, we saw the rates of illegal crossings drop nearly 70%. It was a staggering drop in illegal traffic across the border. And I remember being down here early in 2017, meeting with Border Patrol agents and asking them, say, look, the new president had just been elected. We hadn't built a wall. We hadn't hired new agents. It'd been so quick that there was very little time for much to have changed. So I would ask Border Patrol agents, all right, what has happened to see illegal crossings drop 70%? And what I heard over and over again, they said the only thing that has changed is that the cartels and traffickers believe now the administration will enforce the law.